If I'd known how to ask for help much early on, it would have been a very different story. But like, that was the story that I had in my head. I have to do everything myself. If we can just turn that around and start to ask for help and be in clubs like this, you would get better so much faster. You know, that saves you years of being miserable, of being broke, of being tired, of being lonely, of being sad, etc., etc.
This is an opportunity to be in Club Phoenix, for example, where you're with other people that are intentionally growing into their next purpose, right? They're intentionally cultivating wellness habits. They're intentionally going through a process together, right? Which is a curriculum based on expertise. Right. And so it's so much less random. It's like taking out that like chaotic random factor, which really destroys resilience.
Absolutely. I think that's, I had to learn a lot of it myself because of that. Like, I didn't have a structure before, and it caused me a lot of unnecessary suffering. If I'd known how to ask for help much early on, it would have been a very different story. But like, that was the story that I had in my head. I have to do everything myself. If we can just turn that around and start to ask for help and be in clubs like this,
Yeah.
then you would get better so much faster. You know, that saves you years of being miserable, of being broke, of being tired, of being lonely, of being sad, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Years.
Well,
But
and
it,
even
yeah.
learning how to choose relationships with people that are striving towards growth and healthier is really
Yeah.
different than random. Like to me,
Oh, yeah.
that's just so it's so night or day. And even if you belong to a gym, it's like, are you going to meet people at the gym? Maybe, maybe not. You know, it can be so random. Like life can just add up to way too much randomness. And I think especially now that so many things are online, you know, that someone might be working online and they might be just having more of a self-based schedule, which is maybe more isolating and less bringing them into social situations naturally that are more intentional.
Yeah, and this is something that I realized when I started to do my own growth work, is that I noticed that even when I thought I was intentional, right? I was going to yoga class, or I was going to martial arts class and all of that. I didn't get to choose the people who were in there or the vibe that
Right.
was in there.
Yeah.
So it would be a lot of surrounding myself with people with anxiety or and um when you start to have more of the self-awareness of what you want and the type of people that you want to be around, it starts to actually be very clear that you need to start to really choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need to cultivate, right? And design. And there, I'm guessing too, and this is what I've noticed. It's not totally guessing, but it's like the more we're in mastermind groups, the more we're in purpose driven clubs, right? Where it's growth oriented, the more we realize that that structure creates resilience for us. Like that structure keeps pulling us into what's possible, pulls us into much higher level social situations than just happen randomly and into those deeper commitments where we can turn to people for help and get help according to a structure rather than just like, you know, randomly what someone else read about something or heard about something or blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The the structure is part of the resilience, right? Because when people come
Right.
into a club, they don't have it. They don't have the social resilience. So there has to be some artificial part, not artificial per se, but just like
Yeah.
there we need to draw strength from the group that is already healing.
Yeah.
And then
It was
once you heal it, you become part of it.
right. And it's seamless. It just happens.